sorted out, or is this just seems a little unfair, doesn't it? That you know, where we seem to be here, and there's this parasite messing up our experience.
And you know, I know in my own life, the times that I've made major changes, it was like it became more painful not to change than to change. That was when I made big changes.
You know, it's this whole ridiculous narrative of it's, you know, it's an unsafe world. There's not enough for you. It's scary. Everyone's out to get you, and clearly the old civilization was completely the opposite to that. It was all about empowerment, like literally.
Cosmic resonance, I think they called that one, or
cosmic
something
resonance.
Like
that. That's a better name.
Real science, you can actually produce free electricity, and this is part of what Tesla was doing, is the differential between the top of the spire to the ground actually creates an electrical differential that you then connect to another wire that goes into the ground, your grounding. Put that into the third phase in your circuit, and then you have a bell ringing circuit, and that actually produces plasma electricity out of the air. It's real technology. These things actually function producing electricity. It's crazy.
The movies are the truth and the news is the lies. They've completely flipped it.
You know, when you look at everything with new eyes and you come across information like she was born into a very wealthy family with elite connections, you know, it means something very different now to me than it would have even a few years ago. And it's our free will that they've really also messed with, because we've been lied to and we react based on lies. Just getting their independence and end up in civil wars for 20, 30 years happens a lot.
Because we keep choosing to pick up the gun and use it on ourselves instead of building and uniting and accepting that we are one people, one spirit, one harmony on one plane that together, united, can achieve anything we dream of.
So do you want to, you know, wake up, or do you want to just keep going along because to change is too difficult?
And then give them pieces of information that they will then pursue themselves and look into, and then they'll wake themselves up.
I was going to mention it's the whole red pill, blue pill of the Matrix. I mean, that of the movie. And you can consider that movie as a documentary because they're telling us something about what's happening here. So do you want to, you know, wake up, or do you want to just keep going along because to change is too difficult? Wake up.
All right, I am live again. I finally figured out, thanks for the suggestion, I forget who, but to you who said and suggested to play YouTube through Twitter. And when you open a YouTube link and video in the Twitter browser, apparently it doesn't play ads. So I am finally going to premiere the Geoglyphs and Medicine Hat Badland Guardians episode with myself and Rex Bear of Leak Project. This was recorded on his channel about a month ago.
We are live and alive. Ladies and gentlemen, Rex Bear, Leak Project. How the heck are you? Fantastic evening out here in Southern Colorado. And we have the man, the myth, the legend, BurnEye, the science guy, the nicest mad scientist you'll ever meet. And oftentimes he's doing crazy alchemy experiments in the garage, working on making monatomic gold and different monatomic anomalies. And some of this stuff looks like it's alive. I'm waiting for Frankenstein to come out. Actually, you know, Frankenstein's invention to come out. I've wanted a Bernie's actually Frankenstein. Talk about alchemy experiments. We're going to get into megaliths and what you believe to be like earthworks and possibly remains of the ancient civilization that is all around the world.
You got it. So, well, we're going to do a little bit of both. But the first half will be
Great to see
megalith, and it's an ancient mapping.
Cheers. Have you got your collagen yet from healthwithleak.com? What the heck are you waiting for? This stuff is awesome. So if you've been watching Leak Project for the past couple of years, you know I've been taking this stuff, and I think it's amazing. I do a lot of biking and hiking, a lot of outdoor activities, and it's great for my joints. It's great for my skin. I found out a couple of years ago, collagen is one of the most abundant proteins in your body, and most people after the age of 20, their bodies start to produce substantially less. Well, some even say it's about as close as you're going to get to a real fountain of youth. I take it. I think it's great. It's the best collagen on the market that I trust. Go to healthwithleak.com, get your 51% discount and free shipping, and be the change you want to see, everybody.
That encases the entire Earth, but it goes from pre-cataclysm of the lost ancient super civilization of Atlantis, Lemuria, whatever it was before the Younger Dryas catastrophe event. And then it's also continued on all the way up until pretty much modern day in the same archaeology of the ruling elite, and that they hide it. And it's called Geoglyphology, and it's the science of geoglyphology. And it's discovered by the Farham Foundation, Dr. Farham.
Oh, no problem, man. I definitely like the plasma beer you got in the background. Does that actually taste great, less filling?
Yeah, right. It's Heineken. It's good. It's good. No complaints. It's quite
cool.
Shocking. But so this right here is the Farham.
It's quite shocking. Can I get a drum roll, please?
I first found out about Farham Foundation when I was researching the Medicine Hat Badlands Guardians, as they're known, which are these earthwork faces in Medicine Hat, Alberta, which is right close to me in Calgary, Alberta. And I'm going to actually be doing a boots on the ground meetup exploration of this site in the springtime once this freezing winter in Canada goes away and the snows melt. But I was hoping to get there before winter set in. Sadly, I did not. It's currently minus 30 degrees Celsius outside, so I'm a little cold, little bitter, but whatever. Good enough for today. So this is an aerial image of one of the main features of the Medicine Hat Badland Guardians. You can see it's a road going up to an oil derrick here, right in the center of what looks like the figure's ear. He looks like the main indigenous Western Plains sort of face here. There's a second smaller kind of like gnomish, trollish Viking sort of guy face on the very top head of it. And then facing the eastern direction away from the main face, there's a third Olmec looking face on it right here, with a fourth possible face on the opposite side of that, which kind of looks like the Easter Island or the Moai or stuff like that. And so that's the one site image, but then there is also the second guy, the Mayan with feathered serpent headdress, which is just a little bit further over in the same valley, Badlands. And you can see that it looks like an Aztec sort of warrior with this headdress thing sticking out of it, and what kind of resembles another almost elongated skull face on the opposite side of the road there from him. And there's, when you get an image of the entire valley, there's actually about 10 to 12 faces overall that are in this one area here. And I'll read off a little bit of the description here about the geoglyphs and about the site on the Farham page. Says it was commissioned by Earth's International Research Society with reference to the Indian Head anomaly located 40 miles east of Medicine Hat, Canada. 50, I'm going to just mess that up. I'll leave the coordinates out. We'll post it in. But it's a geoglyph site that is quite prominent from the air,
has been the subject of speculation for many years. During our initial study, it was realized there was more than one character located within the vicinity. After further inspection, it was learned that the characters that existed at the site were related to the Mesoamerican cultures that existed circa 900 BC to 1500 AD. Until now, it was inconceivable that such a geoglyph could exist this far north of Mesoamerica, skipping past the United States all the way up into southern Canada, where Mesoamerica usually it's accepted it ends kind of on the US border a little bit into southern US, but mostly Mexico and all of Central and South America, where this area was. The study involves the use of geoglyphology. Although geoglyphology has only recently come to the forefront, it has been used by ancient civilizations for over 12,000 years to outline territories, tell of travels, and preserve history for those who are fortunate enough to decode it. And what it means by this geoglyphology, I'll scroll down here and show, is that they've deciphered these sites and other earthwork lines. Usually they'll be about a meter thick, about a foot or two tall of earthwork lines, or they'll be made out of megalithic stones, or the actual lengths and angles of the buildings of the archaeology themselves that dictate all of these different geoglyph radials, which I'll go into explaining a little bit more when we get into the Bosnian pyramids, old city Moscow, as well as the Indonesia pyramids and the Yanaguni structure, all of which have and use these geoglyph radials and mapping. So this picture right here, you can see that he's got different numbers with lines at different angles. And what it is the length of the earthwork and the degrees angle it is, at which point he plots it out on the globe, and lo and behold, it multiplies out to these specific spots and destinations. For instance, one is in Hawaii here, another one goes directly to the tip of Baja Peninsula, I think. Yeah, Baja California, Mexico. Another one right here. And see this, there's actually two lines right here. One actually ends right there in the south tip of the Grand Canyon. So that also gets me excited that the geoglyphs might be included or used in some of the Grand Canyon pyramid complex designs as well. And then also southern tip of Cape Cod, Matland, and western tip of Ireland are all on those specific radials or geoglyphs. Here's the third geoglyph site at the Medicine Hat Badlands. It also plots out to Cairo, Egypt, south tip of Britannia, France, south tip of Ireland, tip of Cape Romania, US, Charleston Bay, US, some volcano in Mexico City that I'm going to butcher the name of, southern tip of Baja California, Mexico again, and west entrance of the Beaufort Sea. So one of my goals when I go to visit this site in the springtime and do the meetup is to actually verify that there are these earthwork lines of these specific angles and lengths to confirm that they are these real geoglyphs that plot out to these different sites all over. Here's the fourth geoglyph site, which is directly on the figure of these heads or around it, built around it, into it. And it plots out to north tip of Greenland, south tip of Cornwall, southern Canary Islands, junction of the Ottawa River and St. Lawrence Seaway, entrance to river at Portsmouth, New Hampshire, southern end of Cape Hatteras, North Carolina, Chaco Canyon, home of the Anasazi Indians, Shiprock Mountain, New Mexico, also sacred to the Anasazi, and Cape Blanco, Oregon. So it's more than just a case of pareidolia and these faces from above. It's that there's this actual science of these geoglyphs that map out to all of these different specific places and geographic locations. And that this image right here is the overall territory mapped out by all of the geoglyphs at this Medicine Badlands Guardian site. And it goes from Hawaii up to separates surprisingly Alaska from the rest of North America and what is today the Canadian portion, up to the north tip of Greenland, through the Baltic Sea, separating half of Europe, and down to Cairo, Egypt, and the north tip of Africa, back across to the northern tip of Central America, essentially. And yeah, one giant, massive territory that would have been this Mayan, Aztec, Olmec civilization that built these massive earthwork structures at some point in time. And it seems that it would have had, this site most likely would have had to be done after the Younger Dryas event, because it's the radials go to the current tips of land masses and islands with the current ocean levels, and that supposedly this area was under a glacier before the end of the last ice age, being the Younger Dryas event. And so that's just the Medicine Hat Badlands Guardian site. Now we'll go to the Yanaguni Pyramid in Japan, which is 400 feet underneath the ocean currently. They try to claim that this is a natural structure. Once again, the science of geoglyphology will prove to you that that is impossible. As we will see right here, this is the general design of the different levels and angles of the pyramid or structure that you see above there. And then this is the geoglyphology applied to each of the sides, the different layers and walls of the Yanaguni structure, and that when you apply the same calculations of the angles and the distances, it plots out to a whole nother territory of extreme, undeniable accuracy that is just mind-blowing, like the southern island of Sumatra, west tip of Sumbawa Island, south coast of Papua New Guinea, north tip of New Caledonia, Hawaiian Islands, Attu Islands, east tip of Korea, west side of Korea, north tip of Korean Peninsula. And this right here is the territory outlined by the radials of the Yanaguni geoglyphs, which is absolutely astounding that it happens to be pretty much identical to the same territory that it was occupied by the Japanese Empire at the height of World War II, including the Solomon Islands to the tip of Hawaii, the Hawaiian Islands up to the Attu Island up north, and through a bit of Eastern Asia there. But that, once again, the Japanese Empire tried to control the exact same territory that is marked out in the angles and structure that is the Yanaguni Pyramid, which is 400 feet underwater, which must have been built before the end of the last ice age, before the oceans rose 400 feet and sunk it, which it's just absolutely astounding that there's this hidden, lost super technology mapping system of territories that can really only be done or seen from above, especially when looking at such places as Medicine Hat Badland Guardians, but that it also ties in and verifies the Bosnian pyramid sites, and that in fact a lot of the ancient pyramids from before the cataclysm, so this I believe also proves and shows that the super civilization or super pyramid building civilization, specifically that built all the massive ones, existed.
All right, sorry, I just paused it there. As everyone in the live chat, it says 57 between the two YouTubes, and plus also another 2 on Facebook currently. Twitter, it doesn't tell you how many people are watching, or actually on my main Facebook profile page, but on my artist channel or page, that is connected in, and there's 2 people watching live on that. And then we are also live on Twitch right now, and Twitter, my main Twitter, and now for the first time ever also on Rumble. And that in Rumble, Marcel, pleasure. Good afternoon or evening in Germany. What time is it there? And shout out Frankie, New West Reset. Frankie, it's it's been a Chinook. It's been above zero for like a month straight between January and February. That's like never in Calgary at this time of year. We need to get together and do the Heart House sometime this week. I'm going to text you. We're going to get it done. What else was I going to say? Oh, yeah. I was going to just quickly go over to show the Rumble. We are live on the Rumble. Where is the Rumble? No. Here we go. All right. It's 14 people. See, and another 14 already watching on Rumble right now. And look at this. See, there we go. Boom. We're mirroring. It's the Matrix. It's the simulation being created all over again. I don't know. I'm just goofing around. But yeah, here you can see, oh, Gigi Neptune, howdy. Welcome. As a Burton and a Calgarian, Targaryen, yeehaw to the howdy. Yeah, so please, say, 16 watching now. There we go. And that's pretty good, man. Rumble, it seems they got some sort of working awesome algorithm and honest algorithm, so pretty stoked about that. All right, I was also trying to do live on OdySee today. You can see right here on OdySee, it was set up, but something went wrong. I was trying to put the correct stream keys in, but somehow it didn't quite work out. So let us see if we can figure it out. No. Just it's almost working. Supposedly I have a live stream you can see set up on OdySee, but it didn't want to work properly. Anywho, back to the main feature. Using Twitter, if you can see, let's see. Does it say Twitter? Yeah, you can see that it is Twitter. that I have the YouTube video of Leak Project, Gigantic Earthworks Discovered Lost Global Civilization. So this was the one we're playing here. And no ads and really good sound. Thank you, Elon Musk. This is another first try. It's a good success. I like it. But just because this is live and we give you a little extra bonus, let's go to the Fairham Foundation website and give you a little bit more of what the geoglyphs and geoglyphology science is. And here you can also see I've got the book Ancient Signposts of Arthur Fairham. Thanks, Mom. Awesome Amazon buy. Mom watches the streams and she got this on the book, The Science. So we're going to be going into this in depth, even more so. And yeah, it's the science that actually proves such places as these Badland guardians of Medicine Hat, right close to me in southern Alberta, Canada, are actually man-made and definitely, without a doubt, not a case of pareidolia. This is real science of geoglyphology. And you can see the one, I guess this would be a Western style Plains First Nations warrior person on his crown. Looks like a almost Slavic or Viking or even a troll or a goblin wearing a crown or something head here. And then also on the right top that looks like wavy hair, a feather, also is Olmec face, and what's been deciphered as an Olmec face. And across from it on the easternmost side, it looks kind of like a Maui or some of the Polynesian, Micronesian, or Aztec, Mayan style of warriors. And it goes into absolute detail, investigating it all, connecting it all, and groundbreaking discoveries be taught everywhere and discussed at the highest levels, but probably are discussed at the highest levels, just not made public. It seems they're still used today. In a couple hundred years ago, old world cities. That's the topic for a completely other stream. Here's another one of the heads, the Mayan serpent head. Nope. There we go. A good day, Halfwit. How are you? Paula Hawk, Gigi Neptune, Jolly Man, Brenda Hugh, If I'd Known Ya. All right. Back to the main feature on Twitter. Thank you, Elon, once again for providing ad-free YouTube video viewing through Twitter.
During the time of what Plato said being Atlantis, or Graham Hancock proves of the cataclysm of the Younger Dryas pre 12,000 years ago. And right here's the three main pyramids within the Bosnian calculations, he believes that the orientation of the Pyramid of the Sun, the biggest, largest pyramid of the Bosnian pyramids, is circa 22,800 BC. So about 24,000 years ago, essentially one full precessional cycle from right now, and 1/2 precession cycle from the end of the last ice age. And right here, this is the overview of the Pyramid of the Sun, and the radials are measured with these structures by the actual lengths and degree angles of the sides of the pyramids themselves, and that the 4 different angles of the Pyramid of the Sun specifically plot out to Lewis Island, the north of Scotland there, the United Kingdom, to Tunis and Tunisia, and Luxor in Egypt. And if you want to claim that it's coincidence that these angles, precise measurements of sides of pyramids just magically happen to plot out to these specific places, geographies of Earth, I don't know what to say. It's a level of cognitive dissonance, I guess, because it's impossible any other way. So Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun. Oh, okay. After you add the 4 cardinal points of the compass going out, it also adds these specific other sites, I guess. Stage 2, he believes 9,500 BC. So this would be the same timeline as the Göbekli Tepe in Turkey that's been found and proven to be 11,500 years of age. And the Moon Pyramid angles also plot out and add to the radials here, specifically the tip of Portugal, Jerusalem, Cape Town, South Africa, Jutland, Denmark, Gotland Island, a border marker of Russia is built in. The current border marker remaining today of Russia to, I believe, Poland is, oops, sorry, went too far, plotted out literally in one of the sides of the pyramid. It's just crazy how long and how history repeats itself. There's one border marker, another one going specifically to Moscow, and a third one going to the southern border of Russia and I believe Georgia here, or Turkey. Sorry, somewhere in between the Black Sea and the Caspian. And then, so that's the 3 radials from the sides of the Bosnian pyramids plotted out. And then there's another set of radials, geoglyph radials, from calculating between the 3 pyramids in the valley there. This is a topographical map of the 3 pyramids.
All right.
And that's the triangle created by the 3 Bosnian pyramids.
We have another update. I figured it out. I fixed it. And sure enough, we are also live now on OdySee right now. That's right. Let's see it. Look at this. Share this instead. Oh, there we go. Here we go. Look at that. Live on OdySee as well. So please. Oh, first, I'm sorry, I meant to post this earlier. This is the Fairham Foundation Medicine Hat Badlands website that I was showing there. And now Also, please do go over, take a moment as that matrixed fractal going into itself, being live on live on live on live on itself. Take that moment to subscribe to the OdySee and watch on OdySee, as well as Rumble, because we're live on Rumble. We're live on OdySee. We're live on Rumble. Isn't that wonderful? And we're watching from Twitter.
With the resulting radials displayed. So he got these other radials through the calculating that pyramid of it. And they also just so happen to go to these specific sites, being, I believe, the pillar. Oh, goodness gracious. What is the name? Tip of, oh, it's not there. Whatever the, is it Hercule? No. The entrance of the Mediterranean there. It goes to that spot, to Cornwall, to Denmark, Moscow, Jerusalem, and to Cairo, Egypt as well there. And then, so that is the Bosnian pyramids decoded with the radials. The next portion here is old downtown or old city Moscow, the heart of old Moscow. This area also was the Star Fort, Star City, old portion of Moscow, and that the same radial geoglyphs system, mapping system, applies when you put it out to the angles and lengths of the roads of the old cities and of these star cities, and that sure enough, the Moscow street glyphs, when calculated out by his geoglyph system here, it also precisely maps out all of these specific oh wow, brain fart, sorry. Spots on the map, the territory.
He just got 5G'd.
Got 5G'd there. Geography, there we go. There's too many G's, right? I got 5G'd. The geography G had evaded me. But here you can see it goes to like the tip of the Caspian Sea, the tip of the Azov Sea, and the Black Sea there. Several spots along the current border between Ukraine and Russia, or I guess the old. I guess that one's debatable. The border. And then the border between Finland and Sweden there, as well as different tips of islands of the territory of Russia. It's just it's how the system works, and that obviously this right here is only a couple hundred or few hundred years old architecture, and that there's still the powers that be are still using this within their designs and architecture to show the territories of the empires that they exist and live within. And lastly, the stage 3. So on top of the Bosnian pyramid, there is this bastion fort. It's in rough condition. Essentially, this was a star fort, broken down a bit, but the same walls and angles of the star fort or the bastion fort also plot out these same geoglyph radials and mappings of territories, so that these forts that were built on top of the pyramids more recently within the last few hundred years by the new powers that be, or modern day civilization, also are still using and still mapping out with these geoglyphs and radial sites. It's mind-blowing, really. And this right here is the territory plotted out by the new bastion fort geoglyphs on top of the Bosnian pyramids, and it just so happens to pretty much be identical to the European Union in its present conglomeration. A little bit different, but it's that these forts were built at least a couple hundred years ago, yet the territory being the exact same as the EU today, pretty much, give or take a couple spots.
So I want to go back to the Japanese megalith. Let's go back there for a minute.
Okay. Yanaguni.
Yeah. And then let's look at let's kind of scroll slowly through this for a minute. Let's start at the megalith if we can.
So it's the view from above, essentially going down.
Now, let's stay here. Go there. Yep.
Yeah.
Scroll up just a little bit. Perfect. And nope. You moved it.
Like this, or?
I want to be able to read it a little bit underneath it.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
The site.
There you go.
Gotcha.
Yep. You did it again. You moved it.
Oh.
Okay.
Sorry.
Hold still, Bernie.
Where do you want it? Do you
It's
want
right
this
there,
now?
Bernie. Leave it to no, you moved it again.
Oh, I guess there's a delay. So this one right here. Yes or no?
Scroll down. Right there. The bearings projected using the angles on the Yanaguni geoglyph. So this is what I want to understand. Then the endpoints for the radial is displayed in the above photo. This is what's interesting. Let's look into this for a minute. How does he get? Is he essentially saying that this is like the atlas? This is the key to a network of different societies that are linked into this global civilization from thousands of years ago. Somehow he's linking all of these angles to a different civilization. Talk to us about this. Or do you know what this means even?
Yeah,
this is pretty complex.
Essentially, so what it is that each of these sites plots out a territory, and that they plot out to all the other ancient sites of that specific time era, sort of thing, so that more geography spots being tips of islands and whatnot, as opposed to cities or other archaeological sites or architecture, as opposed to the Bosnian pyramids, where it went to specifically Luxor, Egypt, Tunisia, which are very ancient old cities that it's showing existed. They were other seats of power at that time, and that, for instance, this one here, it goes to the Hawaiian Islands, as does also the Medicine Hat Badland Guardians, also goes to the Hawaiian Islands. So it's that the territories aren't overlaying, where one ends, the other one begins, sort of thing.
So what, you need to know geometry to be able to break it down into radials and then transfer that into a map?
Yes, sir. And you'll be happy.
Do you really
to
understand this completely? Do you understand it? Or are you just kind of going with it? Because
I'm learning more and more of it. I'd say I understand about 50 to 60% of it, but I've been doing a series of podcasts on it, and I'm going to be continuing to do so, where we read more in depth of his process and all of that. I've yet to buy his book and read over his book, where he goes over the specifics of how he calculates it specifically on each site, sort of thing. But overall, from what I've seen,
are they using spherical geometry? Is that what they're doing?
Yes, you'll be happy to hear it only works on a globe. So this is the book right here, The Ancient Secrets of the Old World, that goes in depth, where he explains his entire process and everything to it. So I will get my hands on this and read into it to properly explain his method for the next time that we go over all of this, because it is absolutely ridiculously fascinating, especially when the fact that he's been able to incorporate it into these old world cities, these what are the original maps that show of the quote unquote star forts or star cities of a few hundred years ago. And they're these exact sizes of these old downtown cities of the different power center cities of the world. And that if that's true, and that they're also built into the angles of these bastion forts, it's good, like you said, take things to a whole another level of it. And the fact that he does Medicine Hat Badlands, and then I will figure out and know for sure how he calculates it before I actually go to this site in the spring and verify that there are these earthen works of lines at these sites that he's using to claim to calculate out.
So let me jump in on this real quick, okay, on this Medicine Hat guy. And you definitely need to get out there to find out, because you'll find out once you get there if it's an actual earthwork, if it's a geoglyph or not, or if it's just natural. If we can go back to that image of the Medicine Hat, the big one where it shows the surrounding areas. Okay, I can see the face that looks like a face, and it looks like he's, yeah, or that one right. Let's stay there. Yeah, just stay here. So this is perfect. You can see it where it looks like a face. But then the other stuff where you're saying it looks like a face to you, the reason I'm super skeptical about all the other areas is because it looks just like the surroundings. Yeah. I mean, you can, that to me is pareidoia. But if you, that one area where 4 is, right below 4, if you look at the face, it does look like the outline of the face. So maybe they put a neck in there, but then to say like the other parts of it look like an Olmec head and all these other weird heads, I see absolutely no, I don't see it at all, because it looks like just the rest of the surroundings, right? So that then you could say, well, this one's ahead of us.
All right, so I paused it there as me and Rex disagree strongly on this aspect right here, but that is only, I believe, because Rex has not seen all of the amazing amounts of evidence like that I have to reaffirm my understanding and knowledge behind these geoglyphs and giant earthworks. And right here, the Mayan head, or as I believe it's the Mayan dragon head, it is called, on the west side facing here into out of this helmet thing. And then down here you have, or on the right side, what looks like an eroded, elongated skull head style of character as well. And that throughout the entire valley here, there's actually several of these different giant earthworks and essentially like Nazca style figures, and the geoglyph radial earthworks. And that you can see that these are all over South and Central America, but also North America, and all the way up into, indeed, Canada and even farther north. And that these are extremely ancient and eroded constructions and advanced society that would have been building these. It would have been from the same time as the Nazca, the Peru, the California, essentially pre-Younger Dryas, pre-catastrophe timelines in it. And so this right here is a close-up above this guy's face right here, and you can see it here. So these are throughout the years, different satellite imageries from above throughout the times of the year, and that repeatedly you are getting the same features, that the shadows are the exact same, that like you know, like what were the odds that that picture is from the exact same angles at the exact same time of day from whatever was above it passing over and capturing these different images of them. And that right there is a very, very impressive and remarkable feature of these that go to show the actual intentions of them and engineering that essentially has gone into it. And this is one of the last ones at the very western edge of all of these Badland Guardians. And I believe here on the east side, what is a whitened figure and carving. It looks like the Easter Island style moai there, and like the elongated head up here, big forehead, the extended nose, shorter chin or bigger chin down to that. And then on the immediately opposite side, it's like a tiki Hawaiian style guy with the big brows, or it could also be like a New Zealand style tiki, both of the same. And that what is so amazing about this is that all of these figurines, but when you take into the consideration also these guys on the far boundary, one showing off the light, one into the shadows, it's actually showing the boundaries or different boundaries of Hawaii here and wherever. Oh, so see, maybe the Hawaii, I guess, would be right. Maybe not the Easter Islands, but maybe another one around here. Or maybe this is something else. Anywho, either way, the fact that they look pretty Hawaiian and it could be another island out here. It's the fact that the radials that project from the geoglyph earthworks that geoglyphology is. And to explain that more, you can see here each of these sites the Ferrum Foundation, Arthur Ferrum, has found. And when you zoom in on them, he decodes and finds what are these megalithic earthworks of lifted terraform exactly like the Nazca lines. So to give a better example, let's go back to the Ferrum Foundation's website, and you can see here's that what he calls the Mayan with featherhead serpent headdress, and he's going with the Mayan and the dragon headdress things. And you know, it's a lot to say at first, but the more you see it, the more you look into it, and once you actually read these full documents and see the Olmec and the Olmec, there seem to be a lot of very similar style, and the headdresses, the main. See, he says Aztec chieftain. I disagree. I believe this guy is Western Plains, like the Sarsi, the Sika Nation, Blackfoot sort of warrior. Anywho, the lines. So you can see that there are these straight lines going down, and that he measures the lengths of them and the angles of them. And what me and Rex were discussing, and that we both agreed on, that I need to get to the science of, and that I will be discussing further with Rex on the science, is the science of Arthur Ferrum of geoglyphology. And in the books, it explains in extreme detail how he goes through it all, his calculations and the formulas. And, well, we've got a lot of projects and work ahead of us as this series continues. Yet another one. It's ridiculous. How many different series do we have now? Let's just, while we're here, there's the Science of Sound series. There's the Real Science series. There's the Crystal Battery series. There's the Autodidactic Alchemist series. And if you wonder why I'm extra emphasizing as I say them each time, if you look in the very top right corner, right now it should be displaying Autodidactic Alchemist, or BurnEye, Mind's Third Eye, a Science Guy, or Autodidactic, or Crypto Alchemist, or Real Science with John Hutchinson, or the Science of Sound series, Real Science with Matthew Rife and Zertis, and of course the lovely Astro Girls. But what are we doing here? Back to the regular and this guy. So this whole area is only about 100 or 150 kilometers away from where a travel expedition, boots on the ground, YouTube meetup, camping. We'll base out of Medicine Hat. I guess we'll try to rent out a motel or hotel depending on the turnout for a weekend, but we will also set up like day tents and supplies out at the site as we investigate and do day trips out there for a couple of days, 2-3 days during the weekend. And, you know, if any of the people, if you come down and for the meetup and stay overnight at the site, you're doing so on your own risk and accord. But the official plan and where we will be staying is at a yet to be announced hotel or motel within Medicine Hat itself. Okay, back to the Ferrum Foundation and the geoglyphs. So right here, this is one of the biggest things that I'm going to be going to do is first off verifying these lines, these earthen works that Arthur Ferrum uses to plot out on the geoglyphology and into these giant territories. And that what's even more fascinating, see it, that's from Medicine Hat, Alberta, right by where I live, and that each one of these sites, the exact points, are exact topographical points, and in fact ancient, extreme ancient settlements at these topographical points and markers, and that they plot out well-known territories to exact islands in the Pacific, being Hawaii, or in Mexico City, Teotihuacan, or all the way over at Egypt in Giza Plateau, or through Libya as well, or, you know, like the Bosnian pyramids. Yes, it also, there's a spot where it goes through Bosnian pyramids. All of these exact lengths and directions plotted out and measured off of what Arthur Ferrum has called and discovered and says to be these radial megalithic earthenworks, just like the Nazca lines and all of them in Peru. It's the exact same thing. So yeah, what's everybody think of that? Like, so you got yelling, man. Here's the three of them, or the four faces that I say right there. It looks like actually there is another, what seems like another one there, another one there. So, right, it's like these are at least, and then there's the dragon head one there, and then the Mai, and Tiki guys. Yes, there we go. All right, so it's going to be awesome. We're going to be doing it. It's probably going to be in May, probably the beginning of May, I would say. May Day, maybe on the May Day. Well, maybe we'll do it May Day. And for another, I'm going to be doing so many more episodes. It's a whole series on this. I'm an hour deep now. But that I've actually found while looking up these Badland Guardians just south of me right across the border, literally across the Alberta border with Montana, USA, in the foothills going into the first Rocky Mountains, just south of the border. There's a whole bunch of other massive terraformed earthworks, faces, all sorts of native faces in the mountains and the hills as well. And I actually have all those pictures saved for another day and a whole other presentation. But I am just a teaser. You don't get to see them today. But what you do get to see through amazing Elon Musk's Twitter. And I haven't even paid for Twitter Blue, but I'm telling you, I actually am going to be getting Twitter Blue to test it on my main Twitter to see what the check mark gets you. See what the $10 a month paid algorithmic boost gets you. Because at the very least, it gets you completely out of the negative in the suppressed zone. And at the minimum, it's supposed to actually give you plus a little, plus not an exponential level more than a unbanned, just regular channel, but it gives you a regular channel plus the basic, most basic, like free advertising or $5 adverts. I don't know. Anyways, we're going to try it out. We're going to see what it does. I'm also going to try to get it on one of my YouTube accounts. See, and here's the thing. Thank you. Shout out Tartarian Truth. My brother Shem, the last one to try several times to send me an invite to his YouTube family plan to get rid of the ads in the videos and all of that. And I think it theoretically, I think it also helps with the algorithms, but I'm not entirely sure. Anywho, yeah, it didn't work once again because they're like, denied, you live in Canada, you're outside the country, we're not going to give it to you. And it teased me. It actually like went through 3/4 of the way this time, where the first time, shout out to Aaron Corbett as well, tried about 6 months ago to get me onto his family plan, also south of the border. And it just, when I clicked on it the first time, I was like, denied, you're in the wrong country. But Shems, it was like, yay, you are accepted. Here you go. Authenticize your YouTube channel. All right. Put in this. And then denied. But we're not denied with Twitter. Rant over. Last little part here. Let's see. As I was there anything else I needed to show with the yes. Here's his one breakdown of some of the geoglyph radials at the Medicine Hat Badlands site. You can see these lines. That's what I have to check for. Yes, so there's the second one. So all these lines and angles there plot out to these ones here. So here's the list of the specific places those go to 13-degree radial northern tip of Greenland, 45-degree radial southern tip of Cornwall, 70-degree radial southern Canary Islands, 87-degree radial junction of Ottawa River and the St. Lawrence Seaway, Canada, the beginning of the route to central North America. So what is also key to take from this is that when these were built, it must have been after the Younger Dryas cataclysm, because it's the same coastlines. So that's fascinating. That is very fascinating. Although theoretically or potentially they could have updated just these top ones, and there could be actually I don't know. I'm not going to speculate because Arthur Ferrum would be the one to ask, and it's all in here. Endpoint being, you've all seen this, and what? Just saving it again because it's a good one. This is the territory of all the places that the 5 geoglyph sites and all of these radials plot out, and I will do a video reading off everything, this entire investigation, one day in the next week or two soon. But if that isn't enough to convince you that those are real, let's go a little further and get back to the Twitter.
Zebra. This one's ahead of an orangutan. This one's ahead of you. This one, that one spot, yeah, but the rest of it, man, it just looks like it's surroundings. Would you agree with that? When you look at it again, if you look at the surroundings and you just...
Oh, absolutely. It looks just eroded away and stuff like that, for sure.
But I'm not saying the one part isn't, though. The one, I mean, it definitely needs... It definitely needs...
Sorry, I'm trying to find
investigating.
the second guy. This guy. What do you think of this guy?
All right. Before... I'm sorry. This is the last time I will stop pausing, and I will actually let it play in full after this last interruption. But hail, Benjamin Balderson, welcome, brother. Odin's Alchemy in the house, and you are also one of the victims of my shorts attack, Mr. Benjamin Balderson, and here.
Was holding the oil and the salt together because oil wants to vaporize and salt wants to solidify and sink, and oil wants to vaporize and rise. So this carbon body is holding these two polar opposites together. And that's why, as an alchemist, I'm going to break them apart and catch them and force just this and this back together. Oh, and this is the ash. I almost forgot that. This is the ash there, and the part that's actually solid, and that comes away as ash. And then that's one of the last things you pour out in a slurry and you strain it out. And then you're left with the salt. So then you marry the salt and the sulfur, and that's where the alchemical plane of inversion. And then the carbon tree comes in and locks these two into place. So this carbon body was holding the oil and the salt together because oil wants to vaporize and salt wants to solidify and sink, and oil wants to vaporize and rise. So this carbon body is holding these two polar opposites together. And that's why, as an alchemist, I'm going to break them apart and catch them and force just this and this back together. Oh, and this is the ash. I almost forgot that. This is the ash there, and the part that's actually solid, and that comes away as ash, and then that's one of the last things you pour out in a slurry and you strain it out, and then you're left with the salt. So then you marry the salt and the sulfur, and that's where the alchemical plane of inversion, and then the carbon tree comes in and locks these two into place. So this carbon body.
Me get my solar panels hooked up. And
Sorry
a lot of
about
experience
that.
out on your farm running off-grid.
I don't even know how many times it played over. It was probably at least 2 going on 3 before I realized I kept typing and sharing things instead of paying attention to the fact it was a short clip. But I made 2 short clips with Benjamin's first recorded stream with myself together with Campbell and him from about 6 months ago or so. I've got lots of gems that I saved that I've been making lots of these epic shorts out of the prime interviews and the best moments. I finally figured it out, and thanks to Streamyard and their new shorts editing tool, where you make it posts to YouTube Shorts, it posts to Facebook Reels, and now it also pastes to Instagram Reels, which is awesome. And I'm gonna shut up, play this last little bit, and then the rest of the main feature.
Solar units and stuff like that, Ben. So that's something a lot of people here are interested in, as well as you yourself, Campbell, right? Because we want to be able to get like our little homes, our mobile homes, our little mini homes, or eventually, right, the ranch, the farms, and like I got my family ranch out in BC, so it's like the ultimate goal is to get it energy independent as well and get out there, but also to be doing the touring, and that we will now that the coof is over. It's back to the real world and back to having the tours, the festivals, the traveling seasons, and
let's go forward to the unreal world. I don't like the real world. Let's go forward to the unreal world. That's much more fun.
Right, well,
although I do like that, I do like the festivals and stuff are going.
Me get my solar panels hooked up. And
Well, 100% looks like natural to me, because I don't say
natural.
Because look, if it wasn't natural, then it'd be some dude with a giant hand coming out of his eyeball, and it looks like a hand's like, you know, he's like, here's my hand. That I'm not seeing it whatsoever. That to me, but you need to go out there and investigate, because even if you debunk it, Bernie, you're the stud that went out there and said, look, I'm not a dream killer. Let's go find another dream, because it's not a head of an Indian. Or you're going to go out there and you say, it's a freaking head of an Indian. Look. You know what I mean? So I definitely think you need to go back out there, but the rest of that stuff to me looks absolutely natural. That one spot there is definitely worth looking, because it almost looks like an eyeball, but I would say personally, I think it's weathered. I think it's just natural. But I would go out there in a heartbeat if I was as close as you are. I would go out now. Can you go out now?
It's -30 and covered in snow.
There's
no frickin' way. I can't go outside for more than 5 minutes to have a cigarette without risking frostbite at the moment. Yay, Canada.
Just layer up, dude.
I literally put on snow pants before I go outside just to have a smoke. It's cold. -48 degrees Celsius tonight with wind chill. So
that's about -20 Fahrenheit, I think. Maybe -25
degrees Celsius is, I believe, close to -20, or -40 is -20. Now I'm just showing a couple of videos on my channel in the background here. This one is with the Hutchinsons, John Hutchinson and his wife Nancy. I'm working with them on the crystal cell battery builds that they do. And we've done 3 episodes together. We're doing a 4th one here in a week's time, where I myself will be replicating the builds of their crystal batteries. And a couple of friends of mine have already built them. A couple of them, their batteries are about 3 years old now and have been running nonstop for 3 years powering like their clocks, a couple of lights. So I know some other people that have had them running for about 4 or 5 years, powering some fans. That it's these never-ending battery cells that anybody can build, and whether it's just for emergency purposes or whether you actually start using them, which I intend to do. It's like every single battery you build and attach one more light to it, you're then taking one more light off of the old system that you're no longer having to pay for, that you're no longer being a burden with fossil fuels. It's a green energy that just keeps on giving. So highly recommend that series with the Hutchinsons. And
why not take something like that to market, man? Like, why not use that for your cars and all your appliances in your house?
They want to keep it open source, and they are working on developing it. Let's see here. Nancy's actually developed, and John have developed it right here. You can see the penny, and then you can see this little tiny black square there. That black square is the size that they've been able to get the battery cell down to, and it's putting off 2.3 volts, just this little guy right there. So it's a work in progress, but they want to keep it open source to promote the free energy aspects and sides of it, as opposed to marketing it and giving it away to corporations, or the potential of military classifying such things under national security when you try to patent it and whatnot. And then this is one side of what we're doing with the Hutchinsons. The other side with John's anti-gravitics and all of that. I work as well with the Martin Fleischmann Memorial Project, which is run by Dr. Bob Grenier. And Dr. Bob Grenier is got about 4 different scientists that he's working with across Europe right now that have all replicated different aspects of John Hutchinson's Hutchinson effects, and is writing a paper and book verifying academically the Hutchinson effect.
You know, I remember John 10 years ago, actually 11 years ago, almost 12 years back in the GLP days, when we were, blogging stuff in the forums before we were making videos and posting everything we were thinking about via videos. We were doing it via blogging, and some of his stuff, like I remember he was Twisted Metal with sounds or something like that. Does he still do any of that?
Yeah, so he's currently rebuilding his workshop, or his experiment shop in California at his new place, and with the ultimate goal of reproducing those initial effects. And it's through combining a bunch of different EM frequencies and sound frequencies together, and gets these transmutations and anti-gravitic effects as well. But those specific samples you're talking about of them did melted metals, and those transmutations, he's actually given a decent amount of those specific metals core samples to Bob Grenier, who's been looking at them under the electronic or some sort of microscope. I forget the exact word of the technicality of it, but verifying the different EVOs, exotic vacuum objects, and plasmoids and transmutations of the elements that happened within the solid metals of those specific samples.
Nice, man. And you're such a great artist too, man. You do great work. I want you to send me, you need to make me a leak project.
I do indeed. And then I guess we're almost getting on in our time here. Some updates with the alchemy of my monoatomics. I've been doing, since it's so wonderfully warm outside, I've been freezing a bunch of them the past couple days to try to reproduce these different monoatomic crystals that I was able to make last year, and that they originally looked like ice crystals, but I actually then brought them out of the cold, rinsed them through warm fresh water. They didn't melt, it didn't disintegrate, it wasn't salt, it didn't what's the word, to go back into the water, dissolve. It didn't dissolve back into the water. The crystals actually stayed. They're about an inch long. It's pretty cool. I've got a video up of them, but the monoatomic silver, zinc, copper material. So essentially this stuff right here, that the matter turned into what would look like a little quartz crystal, these pure clear crystals. So hopefully I'm able to reproduce that here in the next couple of days as I observe what I just created outside in my lab. And then still doing the different experiments, a couple inside with the electrolysis and whatnot. Between Bert and Ernie here, I've got a copper cathode going in, and then I've got a gold ore. So it's like ore of gold that it's like some gold, some quartz crystal conglomerate sort of thing that I was sent. And I'm trying these alchemy experiments that I've read up on, where they were able to grow the gold crystal and increase the physical gold mass out of the ore, so that when you're finished, you have more solid physical gold than when you started, which I guess is every alchemist's dream, or pretty much every person's dream, to create gold out of nothing, I guess. So we'll see how that goes.
You make that happen, and that'll be, talk about the Department of Defense wanting to get in on that action. If you were able to transmute something into gold, that would be, wow. Yeah, probably wouldn't see you. You'd probably, even if they kept you alive, you'd have a different identity. Some plastic surgery that move you out into there's something behind you. What was that?
My dog. My dad just came downstairs.
I saw this boop, boop. They're already there. They saw the experiment.
That's funny. No, luckily they're not taking me yet. And actually, another aspect of working with John Hutchinson is their ability, his discovery and process of being able to record and identify the specific resonant frequencies of different elements. And that is actually a key part of my thesis of cold fusion, alchemical transmutation of metals, of being able to put in the specific resonant frequencies of a metal element that you want to transmutate one metal element into another too. And I learned the process of how to do that, essentially, or the steps to be able to do that.
I'd like to be able to see more of your experiments, like your alchemy stuff. And I remember that was the first show that we did, and you're showing off all these cool jars with, I mean, I don't know, like life forms in there almost, like I said. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing more of those experiments, and let's do a follow-up on that next time. And man, I really hope you have an awesome, ooh, look at that.
I got aluminum and copper into the red macular state. Can't really explain it in a few seconds, but we'll get into it more on the next one for sure.
We need to get you a microscope.
Yes, I know. I need desperately need some real lab equipment and access to it. Got to do some fundraising to take this science to the next level and verify a lot of it.
You know, for like $300, you can get a nice microscope. Actually, you can go out and buy yourself a camera that would zoom in on that kind of stuff enough to where it would be like a cheap microscope for probably $100 or less. And that's what you need to do. You need to get one of those. Somebody send Bernie a zoom camera, something that would act like a microscope so that they've got this one you can plug into your phone, and then it's kind of like like this. And then basically, you'd put it up to this microphone and you'd see all the little still wires and zoom in on it. And it's super zoom. You get something like that. And then you could do a podcast and you could do these video streams and show super high res, high detail magnification, what some of these experiments that you're doing in these jars are. That would be a trip, man.
Right. That is the 2023. Hopefully it will be coming for everyone. And it's been a goal of mine for a while to be able to do that. We are working towards it one day at a time. And yes, if anybody out there wants to donate to the cause and help microscope the camera to be able to do that. Also, I need signal generators and Variacs, at least one of each to begin with, to take the experiments to the next level and test a lot of the thesis that I have within the work.
Santa Claus, are you out there? Has Bernie been a good boy this year? Well, everybody left. They're like, okay, that's enough, Rex. Yes.
I kept out of trouble.
No, this is great, man. Much appreciated. You were on the ball and looking forward to next time, and keep being the change you want to see, man.
Thank you, sir. Much love and happy holidays.
Much love. Absolutely, man. Happy holidays.
Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Yeah.
In February. Omak, Alberta, known as Canadian Stonehenge. This site is over 5,000 years old minimum. Dated, accurate, still measured stars, the planets above today. As well, apparently these so-called medicine balls, they also are actually right here. This picture is supposed to be taken from these medicine hat Badland guardians right here. And yeah, that's it for this episode of the Medicine Hat Badland Guardians with me and Rex Bear. I will be doing another episode with Rex and Leak Project here in the next 2 weeks. But we'll be doing some updates of this specific topic as well. And we will be going deep into what geoglyphology is now that I have the book. So it's going to be good. There's lots to come. And yeah, on that note, there's the one I wanted to put around while that music was going. Rex Bear. Oh yeah, okay, here we go. See, look at that. That was the first mess up of it looping out of everything I have open. That's, see, what am I talking about? All right, this was the last thing I needed to share. And not that, but right here. We are live on Twitch. So please go subscribe to us on Twitch. We are live on BurnEye, Mine's Third Eye, ScienceGuy, YouTube. If you haven't, this was my monetized smaller backup channel. The only channel that YouTube let me monetize with 1,860 supposed subscribers. And they demonetized me immediately after I did that stream with Dutch Since. But I think I have done everything they required to reinstate it. I'll find out in the next 2 to 3 days if that is the case. But in the meantime, yeah, no monetization anymore on YouTube. Oh, see there. The second time it's messed up, but here we are, also live on Facebook right now. There, and it's actually live on both my Facebook accounts. Just we have it open on BurnCon Exports. Now, what else do we have to show? Yes, for the first time ever. That's right. We are also live streaming this stream right now on OdySee. There we are, live on OdySee. So make sure to go subscribe and give a like on OdySee as well. And once you've done that, make sure you do, please, to both the channels, Crypto Alchemist and BurnEye, please. All the links are in the descriptions. That's the best part of it all. I do have it put together enough that it is. And then once you've done all of those 6 channels that I've already requested, you beautiful souls and awesome people, and you don't have to do all of them, just the top 5 that you use, please. We're also on Rumble, live on Rumble for the first time ever too. So make sure to become a Rumble member and get over there. It is appreciated. And it's also on Twitter. And I just haven't even opened that up because we were watching the movie that was premiered today, being Twitter, or played through Twitter with no ads through YouTube. That's right. Load YouTube videos through the Twitter website website and app. Both I think work, and you indeed will get YouTube videos ad-free. And on that note, I have to go. Love you all. We'll see you on the next one. Yes, please do. Make sure to go check out the research channel. Tell us how does great work. So we can put on the ground together. Unblooded heart. Please hold on to